Hey guys, hope you guys are doing as well as you can be during these super odd times. I did just want to hop on and go over some things I totally spaced out during these odd scheduled times to post the video that I said I would a couple weeks ago about communication and making sure everything is HIPAA compliant, and just giving you guys some helpful tips and tricks in regards to communicating with your clients. Definitely nowadays that looks a little bit different since we aren't doing as much in-person communication. We may be doing more texting, more phone calls, more videos or emails, and just really making sure that you're covering your ass in the appropriate ways in regards to HIPAA and all that stuff, and you're informing your clients of all those different ways too. So I'll just kind of go through each thing. I'm going to talk about phone, fax, and email. So there's a couple different options for your phone. Of course, you can use your own number. You can use a VoIP. It's a voice over system. So that's essentially using your phone but downloading an app, where that app gives you a new number to use for your practice, so you can separate personal and business. If you do download an app, make sure you're downloading one that can be HIPAA compliant and will sign a BAA with you. And so some of the good ones that will are RingRx, Spruce, I think All Call Technologies. There's one 8x8, I think is what it's called, or phone.com. Things that are free typically aren't going to sign a BAA. So things like Google Voice are going to give you another number to use for your practice, but they're not going to sign a BAA, so they're not going to be HIPAA compliant. And so making sure you're just kind of looking into those things. All those also on the platform give you texting, so you can text with the client as well. Making sure when you're putting numbers in your phone, though, that you're not putting your client's full name in there, just because who knows who's going to pick up your phone. Hopefully we all have a passcode on our phone or something like that to protect any information if we do have clinical numbers or information on our phones. But just kind of thinking all that through, so maybe using initials for your clients or another name or something like that. You also can just get a whole nother phone if you want to. A lot of people I know don't really like this just because it's kind of hard enough to keep up with one phone. They don't want to keep up with another one as well. But just really wanting to make sure that in your informed consent, everything is detailed out about communication. And I'll talk a little bit about that later in regards to kind of the rules of communication. But yeah, of course, any questions about any of this, just let me know, and I'll try to help you guys out and make sure you're as prepared as possible for all of this communication for now. But also, of course, we always communicate with our clients, so making sure we have everything squared away. Fax, pretty self-explanatory. We have that at the office where of course, you can just fax whatever you want from our landline. If you do ever need another fax thing, there are online fax things like Faxage or Dr. Chrono, where you can fax things electronically. But yeah, fax is kind of already HIPAA compliant, so there's not really much you have to think about there. Email communication. So the biggest thing with email is if you're sending protected health information over the internet, you really want to make sure that it's encrypted. And so you want to make sure it's coming from a space of end-to-end encryption, which means it's encrypted when it's in my mailbox and it's encrypted when it goes to my client's mailbox. So typically you're going to have to pay for services like this. Most people aren't giving away free end-to-end encryption just because there's lots of other things that need to be done within the system to ensure that security, to make sure that the email is not getting hacked on the way to your client's inbox. So that's really important. Of course, lots of paid for services for this, making sure that you get them to sign a BAA. You just typically have to ask them, and they'll have forms, and it's usually DocuSign and pretty easy. Just ask each company that you work with, third party wise, to sign a BAA. Sorry, there's a plane going around. But some of the top rated ones for secure email, just gonna wait. Hushmail. So I use Hushmail. Hushmail is really great. They also, they have end-to-end encryption and all that, but they also have secure forms. So if you have a website and you want to have a URL designated for your contact form, you can embed the secure hush form in there, so then every time a prospective client goes on your website and fills out your contact form, it's already coming into your inbox as an encrypted, protected file. So it's just adding an additional security. If you pay that little extra, though, you can do like electronic signatures on there too, so you can have and create totally paperless intakes for your clients, and you can just send it to them as like a URL, and so you don't even really need to have a website or anything like that, but you can create the form through your Hushmail account, send it to your clients via email, and then they can send it back to you, and it just kind of comes in as a PDF, so you can either print that out and you can paper file it, or you can upload it into your EHR. So that's really great. I'm sure Proton Mail and Luxy and Engard and Office Alley probably all have like similar features like that, but Hushmail is really easy to use and I really like it. You can also do Gmail as well, making sure you're using the G Suite account, which is a paid for Gmail account, and just making sure you're getting a BAA signed with any third-party company that you're using for email to make sure you're getting that. Also, I'll put it in the comments as well, but there's just a confidentiality notice that you should have at the end of your signature for emails. That is just an added protection. And I'll just kind of copy and paste that into the comments for you guys. But different, just kind of like communication rules and guidelines, making sure this is all written out in your informed consent and that you are reviewing it with your clients during that intake session. But like, when are you going to respond to emails? Are you going to respond to calls within 24 hours all the time? Or maybe is your policy 48 hours on the weekends? Or are you not going to communicate with people outside of session? And making sure if you do have certain boundaries that you're enforcing them, but also that if you are going to have stricter boundaries on communication outside of sessions, that you're providing all the resources and needs for your clients to get their needs met if you're not going to be able to meet them. Let's see. Also, just making sure when you're sending emails that you're not putting like their name or birth date or anything like that in the subject of the email, just because typically on phones or on email servers, when we check our mail, that's, typically not encrypted. It'll say, Therapy by Shannon sent you an email, and if I have my client's name in the subject line, there's really no point of even encrypting it, because then I've just kind of violated the rules. So just kind of making sure you're keeping tabs on a good bit of that. I know it's a lot, and I know it looks very different now, doing a lot of telehealth, which does encompass texting and emailing and faxing and all those things outside of video sessions. But there are scripts on the OneDrive folder that could be really helpful for your voicemail and or for follow-up inquiries for email. And of course, as always, I'm always here for a resource for you guys and to help out during this transition and or building your practice at all. Feel free, call me, text me, email me whenever you need, and we can set up kind of a one-on-one consultation or anything like that, and I can answer your questions or point you in any type of direction to get your questions answered. But again, I really hope you guys are doing as well as you can be during these super odd times. But yeah, hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye.